Billionaire gave her credit card to a poor single dad for 24 hours, what he did left her in tears. When Evelyn Hart slid the sleek black credit card across the cafe table, she did it with the calm confidence of someone who had never worried about a declined payment. The card was heavier than it looked, a quiet symbol of her billion-dollar empire. Across from her sat Daniel Reyes, a single father with tired eyes and calloused hands, still wearing the faded jacket from his janitor shift. 24 hours, Evelyn said gently. No limits, use it however you want. Daniel stared at the card as if it might burn him. Why? He asked. You don't even know me. Evelyn smiled, but there was a sadness behind it. I know enough. I saw you give your lunch to a homeless man yesterday. I saw you walk your daughter to school every morning before work. I want to know what someone like you would do if money wasn't the problem, for just one day. Daniel swallowed. His first instinct was to push the card back. Pride had been all he had left since his wife passed away 3 years ago. But then he thought of his daughter, Sophia, 8 years old, bright-eyed, pretending not to notice when the lights flickered at night because bills were overdue. I'll return it tomorrow, he said quietly. That's all I ask. Daniel didn't go shopping. Instead, he went home and packed Sophia's lunch himself for the first time in weeks. Then he took her to school, holding her hand longer than usual. When she ran inside, he stood outside the gates, watching her laugh with her friends, and felt something he hadn't felt in a long time, hope. His first stop was the dentist. Sophia had been complaining about tooth pain for months. Daniel had been giving her painkillers and promises. That morning, he handed over the card with shaking fingers. The receptionist smiled, swiped it, and called Sophia's name. When Sophia came out later with a brave grin and a small sticker on her shirt, Daniel felt tears sting his eyes. He hugged her tightly. No more pain, he whispered. Next, he went to the grocery store. Not the expensive organic aisle. Just the basics. Fresh vegetables, milk that wasn't about to expire, chicken, rice. He even bought Sophia her favorite cereal, the one with the cartoon astronaut, something he'd always said no to. At the checkout, the total flashed higher than he was used to. His heart raced. The card went through smoothly. Daniel exhaled. He drove past the rundown apartment building where he lived and stopped at a hardware store instead. He bought light bulbs, a small toolkit, and paint. That afternoon, he fixed the flickering lights in his hallway, tightened loose cabinet doors, and painted over the stains on the wall. Sophia helped, her face smeared with white paint, laughing like it was the best day of her life. When evening came, Daniel sat at the small kitchen table, staring at the card again. He hadn't even spent a fraction of what Evelyn could afford. And yet, something inside him said he wasn't done. The next morning, Daniel woke before dawn. He dropped Sophia at school and drove across town to the shelter where his wife, Maria, used to volunteer before she got sick. He remembered how she used to come home exhausted but smiling, telling him stories about the people she helped. Daniel walked into the shelter and asked to speak to the manager. I want to cover meals for the day, he said. And supplies, as much as this can manage. The manager blinked. Are you sure? Daniel nodded. He spent the next hours paying for hot meals, blankets, toiletries. He didn't tell anyone his name. He just watched as tired faces softened, as people said thank you with voices that trembled. Before leaving, Daniel noticed an elderly man sitting alone, shoes worn through at the soles. Daniel knelt in front of him and asked his size. Then he drove to a shoe store and bought a sturdy pair of boots, warm socks included. The man cried. Daniel did too, quietly, in his car. That afternoon, Daniel made one final stop. He went to the hospital. Maria's medical bills had crushed him after she passed. Collections letters still haunted his mailbox. Daniel walked to the billing office and handed over the card. I want to pay what I can, he said. All of it, if possible. When the clerk returned, her eyes widened. Your balance is cleared. Daniel felt his knees weaken. He sat down, head in his hands, breathing through the weight lifting from his chest. For the first time in 3 years, he felt free. At exactly 24 hours later, Daniel sat across from Evelyn again, the black card placed neatly between them. I didn't buy anything for myself, he said before she could ask. I hope that's okay. Evelyn studied him. Tell me what you did. As Daniel spoke, about Sophia's dentist visit, the groceries, the shelter, the hospital, Evelyn's composure cracked. Tears pooled in her eyes, then spilled over. She didn't bother hiding them. Do you know, she said softly, that I gave that card to executives before. Investors, even friends. She shook her head. They spent it all. Cars, watches, trips. Daniel looked down. I just did what mattered. Evelyn reached for the card and then slid it back toward him. This time, she said, voice trembling, it's not for 24 hours. Daniel froze. I can't. You can, she interrupted. And you should. She took a deep breath. I lost my son 5 years ago. I built companies to avoid the silence. Watching you reminded me what money is supposed to do. She stood, extended her hand. I want to fund your education. Set up a trust for Sophia. And if you're willing, I want you to run our new foundation. Daniel's eyes filled. He took her hand, shaking. I promise, he said, voice breaking, I won't waste it. Evelyn smiled through tears. I know you won't. Outside, the sun dipped low, casting warm light across the city. And for the first time, 2 broken lives felt whole again, not because of money, but because of how it was used.